Right. Welcome. This is Activated Talk, back again on the second episode, where today we are mostly going to focus on politics, or so to say. So I hope you guys didn't forget my name, so I don't want to repeat that part. But just know I'm Laurentius.
Laurentius Mahongo.
Yeah. All right. So we want to look more into politics today, in cases where we have to understand democracy, voting, and also just political parties, or so to say. Because as much as we, as are citizens of a certain country, we, specifically in Namibia, with the kind of youth that I've come across, we hardly have understanding of what exactly the government entails, what is democracy, what is politics, what is in it for you, what is the need of you to vote,
definitely,
and, the benefits of you voting. It's really problematic for us to walk around and then the youth don't have this particular information.
I would say the youth participation in politics is very small, in a sense that the young people don't care about the politics or the economy of the country, in terms of what is happening in the political sphere and in the economical sphere. They don't want to do any commentary on that, and that is concerning.
Most definitely, because one thing that people first need to initially understand is what is a democracy,
Yes.
Maybe they keep missing that term. What is a democracy?
Because we have these people in power, right? The government, and Namibia is a democratic country, multi-party system. That means you select a certain political party that you believe can do their job, and there's this reciprocal relationship between the government and the governed, us the people now, So that is what democracy entails, the legitimacy that we give to the ruling party when we vote them into power, right? That is democracy. Now, if we are not participating in the processes of democracy as young people, it becomes very problematic.
We shouldn't really be ignoring. We have to keep on participating.
That's most base, because as far as I'm concerned, or we are concerned with politics and democracy, democracy is basically just the government that tends or tries, or it's supposed to involve everyone. You understand? So that is, democracy is sort of like a ruling system that depends on everyone getting involved.
Everyone is involved. As they say, the government for the people, by the people.
The government for the people, by the people.
But now the problem is that our people in Namibia, especially young people, they don't want to participate in this democratic process. During elections, the young people don't show up, and all they do is talk and complain that no, the government is not doing this, the government is not doing that. But they have the power to remove that government, from the offices.
So that's why a democracy is for the people. You understand, by the people. So it's a situation where what you, as a specific citizen of a country, decides the values or the sort of like the elections, the evaluations that you've done on your own, based on a political individual or a political party. You vote for that party so that the visions and the future implementations that you foresee comes in regards to that particular individual that you believe in.
There's actually a level of trust here between the elected officials and the people who are electing these people, to say that the people who are voting them into power are giving them consent to actually rule them and to draw up rules that they have to follow, and have to, obey, right? One more thing that young people are not really doing is, or let me say Namibians in general, they don't read the manifestos of political parties. They have no idea about the constitutions of the political parties, right? And these documents really detail, or every information, all the details about this political party, their future aspirations, what they stand for, their ideology are stipulated in there. So how can you now vote for a political party if you don't even know what it entails or what it stands for, what ideology?
The manifesto is usually released before elections.
Yeah, before the elections, a few days. Yeah, and we don't really. Even political parties, we don't see them really like campaigning and showing people or marketing these manifestos, distributing the manifestos.
They really do. Like the past elections, they did release manifestos. I remember IPC released IPC, Independent Patriots of Dr. Tula. SWAPO released. I watched all those videos, man. But then the thing is, they have no views and all that. They release.
People are just
ignorant.
People are ignorant.
Like, really ignorant.
People are really ignorant because a manifesto is really, again, a very important aspect of democracy or democratization process, right?
Yeah.
And if young people are ignoring it, it's even just talking about the main constitution of the country itself. Young people are ignorant about it, or Namibians at large are very ignorant about it. Just to know what is Namibia, because the constitution is the document that represents Namibia. To say what is Namibia, what type of government is Namibia, what can you expect Namibians to do or to act like? That's
exactly. I think it also just comes down to fact checking, because the youth, man, I think they are so comfortable with speculations. You understand? Whatever they hear around, as long as they feel comfortable with it, they keep that. They don't want to research
their own research.
Especially these statements. I know my rights. I know my rights.
Yeah, you know right away.
You don't even know what the constitution is.
You don't.
You don't know when it was compiled and all that, but you're out there. You know.
I know my rights. Do you know that?
Like the youth, they are so much comfortable with speculations. For instance, if I give you an example, right? I don't want to have no like direct quotes. I just want to put it there on a general platform.
Yep.
So it's a scenario where you grew up in a certain family, right? A homestead, you understand? So everybody, year after year, you see your family vote for a certain particular party, you understand?
Yeah.
Your family gets those benefits and you're so comfortable with that, You just hear speculations, you go out, people saying blah, 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 this ABC, this party does this, and then you just there and you believe that is how it is.
Moving with the wind.
You're just moving with the wind. That's so problematic, you understand?
Yeah, it's very problematic.
It's very problematic because of course, we do understand there are no laws that are stipulated to require you to vote, but voting is one of the essential activities which needs to be done. It's a very healthy for you as an individual yourself, because if the government or the government which is in power sort of start doing things which you believe is not correct for the nation, you can as well just vote that particular person out. Because
definitely. I mean, what is the use of just going on social media and writing trash about this particular official or this particular party, to say they are not doing the job, what is expected of them. If you are not going out to vote,
you're not going out to vote. You might as well just keep quiet.
A lot of young people, they don't even have a voter's card. And so if you don't have a voter's card, I don't think you even qualify to make commentary on politics and the economic aspect of the country.
Definitely. Because at the end of the day, it's really just not making sense. Where you go is basically defined by where you are coming from. You understand? It's because of the things you've sort of been exposed to. It determines. Of course, we understand that you are being formed by the society that you live in, but it doesn't hurt to do a little bit of research, man. Come on.
Definitely.
I mean, just sort of like
at least an hour a day just researching on that.
Just to go in the library, man.
Yeah, definitely. Because and one problem is that Namibians are really, they are looking at political parties from the perspective of traditions or tribal groups, which is wrong because at the end of the day, when that party goes into power and you vote them because they are part of your tribe or your tradition, if you vote them into power and they don't do the job that needs to be done, at the end of the day, as a country, we fail as a country. The results, the consequences, we all feel the consequences. That particular party is not going to perform.
It is not. I think that's the same thing. It's the same issue that comes around when when it's campaigning time, because you find like initiatives where political parties sort of give tenders to artists to sort of like have their back, or maybe just entertain the public so that they can
during campaigns.
During campaigns, so that they can make it favorable for that particular party to have more votes. You understand? But at the end of the day, you find some tribalist words or discussions all around it. You find they chose who because of this tribe.
We have a lot of
you understand?
You know, the main reason why they use artists on during campaigns is to have influence, to gain influence. You check because let's say, for instance, they used gas. There was a time SWAPO used gas in the dog, right? For their campaign. As for me, according to my understanding, they use those two artists because they are the biggest artists in Namibia. So they have influence. The moment they see them performing for SWAPO, then they'll be like, nah.
So it's like a stunt, a campaigning stunt.
The people that the country is supposed to look at as its own future do not even know the go-abouts of how the country is governed. You understand? So it's problematic when even the tribes are divided in accordance to the political parties. As much as you want to look at things from that perspective, it's wrong. All right, you can be influenced by the society. We keep on saying this, but it's important to just read the manifestos, get an inside view of what exactly this political party entails.
Acquaint yourself with daily political news, daily economic news of the country. How are the statistics? What are the statistics showing? In terms of the performance. What are the unemployment rates like? So how are we need to keep the governing party, what do you say? We need to keep the governing party accountable. Right.
No,
for their actions. And if they are not doing the thing, we go to the polls and we take them out. That is the power that we have.
That's the power of even voting itself. It's not like I said. It's not necessarily just to put somebody in power. It's also when you see that there is no future here, or maybe the future is being distorted, we can try to re-elect this particular individual. You know what I'm saying? So we can have a different person in it. You understand?
So the only problem is the voters turn out.
It's the voters turn out. Like I remember, like honestly, I was planning not to talk about specific political parties, but I have to bring this one out. You understand? So you see when Itula was an independent patriot, right? He was on his own, but he was part of SWAPO, right? I don't know. There was this sort of like speculation within the youth where they just wanted SWAPO to be out. You understand? Or at least with the young people that I was associated with, they literally just wanted SWAPO to be out. I'm like, okay, cool. Why do you want SWAPO to get out? No, they've been long in the government. I think it's time they give a chance. Like, what is that? I mean, what weight does that even carry?
That argument or whatever, it doesn't carry weight.
Yeah, it doesn't carry weight. You don't even have vivid explanation. You don't have
reasoning.
I mean, you are just saying, no, it's been long in power. How do you mean it's been long in power? People have been voting for it. You understand? So it just doesn't spring up and it's in power. You understand?
People have literally been putting it in
People
power.
have been literally putting it in there. While you are just at home sitting and complaining, you don't have a voter's card for that matter. And sometimes you might even forget which day we are electing.
The election day.
You understand?
The only parties you know is the three
biggest three political parties.
So it's a multi-party system in Namibia. I know Namibia is probably too small to have a multi-party system, but a multi-party system is very important for democracy. We are a liberal democracy, right? And a multi-party system is very important, because. But then the problem is that the democratic process is not being carried out, in a sense that from the point of the people, or looking at the people, especially the young people, they are not getting involved, in the political process of the country, which is gonna cause some of these things to fail, or it's gonna cause the economy at large.
It is gonna cause the economy, because at the end of the day, as much as the government is doing what it's doing, to some right extent, they are doing things to put sort of like clearing the way for the young people who are coming to come and sort of like have the best experience, or sort of like to take over and bring about a safe space for all the citizens of that particular country. You understand? So now it becomes problematic if the government, which is in charge, starts to see that the youth are getting lost. You know, the young people are not headed into the right direction. You understand? That's why you hear the president not to say, some political members, they keep on saying, no, we can't have people who are, drug addicts ruling the country.
What do you mean? Yeah, what do you mean now? We can't have people who are drug addicts ruling the country when you don't do something to actually improve the living standards of those people. To give them a purpose or something to work toward,
for them to focus on.
Something to focus on. If these people, and as Namibian young people, we have been receiving blows from this economy right now. The unemployment rates for young people is tremendously high. Which is really unnerving, because how can we have such a high unemployment rate for young people? This means that there's a lot of dependency on the working class, or the adults. Dependency.
There's a lot of it.
It's terrible for the economy, and so these young people are going to resort to other stuff because the economy is not accommodating them.
Why do you think this? At some point, there's like high crime rate. You understand? You go to Katutura, you go to other places, you go uptown. It's everywhere. It's just bototos, man. People now are turning to certain things which are just not to be encouraged. You understand? Because at the end of the day, what can they do?
What can they do?
I've went to university. I've obtained my degree.
No job.
But then we also need to be entertained, right? During our election processes.
Entertainment is, that's up to the political party to see what type of entertainment are they going to use in their campaign.
Because that's also one thing that's keeping the youth away from politics,
Because there's a lack of incentive, pushing factors.
They need something that will pull them in.
I guess the government at large can make such incentives available to all citizens. Because it's very healthy for the democracy.
You know what I'm picking up? It's like the youth or the young people, they just want to jump around and say, ooh, happy, you know what I'm saying? Like drinks and whatnot all over around them. But okay, we get that part, right? But as much as we want that to be the center of attention as to young people, so that they can have sort of what they call enjoyment or whatever, but it's necessary to sort of like understand why the country is running into a low employment rate. You understand? Like
what is causing this?
What is causing that? Like why are we operating in certain sectors operate in this particular way?
Why and there's a lot of debates going on about the government only having 10% stakehold in the oil. Right, 10%.
10%.
And a lot of people are complaining that no, this is not supposed to be the case, but they don't actually go back to do more research or intensive research to actually find out why is the government only be able to beg 10%, from these oil findings.
Yeah, understand.
And who owns the other 90%?
Well, that is owned by private companies from overseas, foreign private companies.
Overseas, man.
And because they have the money, they have the equipment. They are investing large sums of money, and our government is not putting in anything because the government doesn't have money, So we can't own our resources.
We definitely can't own our own resources. That's the thing. When we have talks like these, it's very important. I think next time, politics, we want to have somebody to really answer us. When we have these particular questions like. Why do we have a very low employment for the youth? You know what I mean? And that is certain things like that. The youth sees this. They get involved with their friends. They get to see that there's a lot of youth out there who are just seated at home, and we still don't vote. We end up just not voting. We always come back to the voting part. You understand? Where we don't vote the right government to be in power.
I had talks amongst fellow young people at different places where they go and say like, what is the use of voting? What is the importance of voting? Why would I want to wake up one Saturday morning to go and vote, stand in long queues to go and vote? Look, it's worth it. That is where that is when you have power. That is when you have actually power to make a change in the country. But they don't have to go out there and vote. That's the problem.
They don't want to go out
To
there.
make a voter's card, they don't want to do that.
They don't want like ish. It's such a pity, man. You know, like no, we want the independent patriot to take over. Maybe we can see some changes. Blah 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 blah. Inke ina na popa na papa.
If you want to see changes, get involved.
Get involved in the
into the
political
activities that will bring about change.
That's I think that's the moral of all this. It's just the basic understanding of why you need to vote. You understand? The basic understanding of why we need to vote. I mean, when political parties do their campaigns, I think they should also just focus on terms on how to educate the young people on which particular books to read on so that they can understand what they're doing if they want to really bring changes. Because as far as I'm concerned, I think people are just winging it, you know?
I think that is the job of the government. I think the government should do that.
Exactly.
Young people should understand from elementary school what the importance, what does a democracy entail?
What does it,
Why is Namibia a democracy? What is expected of the citizens of a democracy?
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, exactly. What subject are we supposed to have this kind of talks like this kind of history or geography? What's that?
Social studies from
Social
elementary
studies.
school,
Look at
in
that.
primary school.
Why do they even send this to primary schools? I mean,
Kids should know this stuff just so that it's embedded into them to understand.
to sort of like grow with it.
Okay, this is a democracy. What is expected of us as citizens? Are we just gonna be there, watching these people rolling us? What do we do when we are not happy with these people's leadership or whatever decisions they make? What do we do when we are not happy?
Exactly.
What do we do when we say that there is no more trust or the level of trust between us is that bond of trust is kind of losing. The power.
Yeah.
And also, what intimidates me is the involvement of like the task forces, man, like the police officers and whatnot. You know, when a certain issue is seen to be against the law, or perhaps they feel it is against the law, but you don't see how it is against the law. You understand? Now, as an individual, we also just want to be educated on how we are supposed to respond.
Check.
Is there any sort of
they should just start distributing the constitution in high schools, bro. Like for students to get to know what is a constitution, bro.
Well, I think they do it in some schools, but the young people are just not interested in reading it.
Is it pamphlets?
Nah, brother. Yeah. Just a copy of the constitution, bro.
Like in history.
You see those things around the schools, like laying around.
For people who are in high school that are doing history, they do get to read the constitution, but they don't read it because they're just not interested in reading the constitution.
Just make it a compulsory
what
thing.
can be done to actually be interested in reading the constitution, just to understand what Namibia is? We know what Namibia is a country, but what are the systems, institutions that are running this country? What are the ideologies, in place?
I mean, I would say if other schools are really just receiving constitutions to read and just sort of understand them. I mean, you find kids or students in schools who really just read constitutions and they want to discuss it with their friends.
Because we don't really. What is that thing that makes us happy about being Namibians, And I think it's very patriotic of anyone to go out there and just to read the Constitution. The Constitution, it's available on government websites.
Yeah,
it's available
everywhere, bro. Just search on Google.
Read the Constitution, understand what are the procedures, in terms of the law. How is law, passed out? And
bro, that just brought me to a conclusion that, in this country, there's no that feeling of ownership, bro. And to a certain extent, if the government was just to decide, no, if you want to go anywhere in this world, just pack your bags and leave. You understand? No one in the
country will be empty.
I'm telling you,
this country will be empty.
I'm telling you, there's gonna be elephants. There's gonna be elephants and lions just taking over.
They might as well just open Etosha National Park just to populate this country with animals. Because the situation in which we are now is dire. It's extremely dire.
But
it's terrible.
It's funny how you find people from maybe Zambia, Zimbabwe, Angola, the SA, Congo, they're coming to Namibia, bro.
Yeah, and
to come and then
make a living.
To just come and make a living. Now you sit down and think to yourself, what am I missing, bro? Like, if I got the opportunity to leave, bro, I would leave without even thinking about it.
You know, which should not be the case. There shouldn't be like, you know, pushing factors that are making us to want to leave our country.
Exactly.
It's not good because, you know, at the end of the day, you have people who have gained the necessary skills, they've got a degree, but they don't want to work here because there's no job opportunity. Well, they want to work here, but there's no opportunities, so go out and find a job somewhere else outside of the country. We have lost skilled labor or educated people with qualifications. We have lost these people. The country at large lost, you know, by far.
Yeah, no, definitely. The country at large is lost. Because there was a time I remember, at I think it's Acacia School, we're doing some sort of like soft skills, man, by Ngola Academy. I think one of the tutors was teaching about getting to know Namibia. It was something beautiful, man. You start to think to yourself, there's the Namib Desert. It's one of the oldest desert.
The beauty of Namibia is unmatched. This country is beautiful. You know, and these YouTube pages, we have tourists that come here and they produce, you know, they are like vlogs, videos, you know, of their time in Namibia. And wow, it's amazing, man. And I'm sure a lot of Namibians don't know some of this stuff about Namibia.
They don't, bro. They don't know the ocean. I think is it the ocean or the sea, where the seas meet the desert, bro. Like,
bro, where else does that happen?
I think somewhere there by Ish. Where is that, bro?
That's like a very, you know.
Bro, the sea literally meets the desert. You know, some of this stuff you don't even find it in Dubai, where people are so eager to just go there. I mean, Africans should come to Namibia instead of Dubai. I don't
understand.
You know, because we have everything that what don't we have that Dubai offers?
Exactly.
I mean, if you want to do shopping, we have the malls here in Namibia. You know, if you want the recreation to feel the nature, you know, we have that, and we have amazing natural phenomena in the country.
So those niggas, they are singing peace, stability, prosperity, one Namibia, one nation. I'm like, bro, that's the thing. Gets stuck in the head.
This concept of unity in diversity. I don't think it's really rolling out nice.
It's not emphasized. I think
tribalism, you know, tribalism. You know, because you know, after Namibia is very diverse, you know, in terms of its cultures, you know, and ethnic groups, you know, and the history.
The history is really, you know, emphasized to a certain extent that I feel like the history, I don't even want to talk about the history too much like that, because I feel like there's a lot of things which we don't know, especially as we're not into the historic, like the real history, which is taught the academic history. We just pick up a few things, Jacob Marengo, you know what I mean?
But just coming back into the present, you know, and not going into the history. How our country is performing, you know, and you look at how, for example, Zambia is performing. Have you seen how Zambia's currency is, the kwacha, how it's performing?
Isn't it the second largest, the second best performing
in Africa?
In Africa, best performing currency in Africa. Just read about that.
Best performing?
Currency, kwacha. You know, right now the exchange is probably between, you know, one kwacha for 15 USD, while for the Namibian dollar it's at 17.
That's for real, bro.
I'm telling you that Zambia's economy is doing tremendously, you know, amazing. And as Namibians, we should look at now some of this stuff, you know, and maybe envy some of this stuff and wish this stuff upon our own country, to say that our country should be performing good, you know, economically, and we are obligated to go out and vote. If we feel like our economy is not good, we should go out and vote, you know.
Speaking about that, people getting involved. I remember Prof. Kenneth Matengo's speech at the 30th anniversary celebration. He said that the ladies are doing the most, guys, in this country. Where is the boy child? Where is the boy child?
I guess
just imagine that we have young people in the parliament, what young ladies.
Well, I think everything is in the favor of the girl child now. Everything is in the favor of the girl child.
I think we need to pull up our socks.
So the girl child, we seeing what you're doing.
Salute y'all.
But honestly talking, guys, gents, let's do something about just, you know, educating ourselves, knowing democracy, as well as just understanding the importance of voting, man. Read books, you understand? So Activated Talks, we here, my niggas. And anybody that just wants to reach on to us, you know where to find us. Hit the subscription, the link.